Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video, I am going to start a new series for 2025 and see how it rolls. I basically want to talk about everything that is on my wish list that I entered in my wish list for January. So these would be everything that excited me. I am planning to do a low buy. I definitely want to think over all the consumptions that I'm doing. So I'm going to give you like my top 10 things that were on my wish list, and that can vary. I'm not going to stick to 10 or something. I think I have 12 right now in my wish list for January. But I think that this would definitely help me reevaluate the things that are there in my wish list, whether I really do want that, need that, or it was just like a new thing that was just stuck in my mind. So if you guys want to see what are the things that actually went into my wish list for January, please keep on watching. So let's start off. I am making a list on my laptop so that I definitely put that in my mind whether I really do need it or not. Now let's go over the list. I will let you know what I bought, what is still in my wish list, why am I still thinking about it, or I've already forgotten about it. So let's begin. The first thing that I put in my wish list was the YSL blushes. Now, I really remember that when I saw Alicia Archer's video, and she put that shade on her, and I was like drooling over it. And the shade is called Peachy Nude 37, and that looks like a warm terracotta shade, which absolutely calls out to me. That shade is so yummy, and like, it's not rusty, it's not orange, it's really so beautiful. But the shade is $45. Now, I kept on thinking about it. That shade was really calling out to me, but $45 for a blush is definitely high on the price range. Now, you know, when a eyeshadow palette sticks out to me, what do? I try to dupe the shades that are there in my collection. I did the same thing for this blush, and I felt like that Peachy Nude blush was very similar to this House Labs blush. And this one is in the shade French Rosette. I felt like this is so close to the shade that was that Peachy Nude shade. At least it's gonna come very close on my cheeks. Okay, this might be a little bit more light. I don't know. I don't want to think that I do not have that blush, but I definitely want to think that this blush would serve the same purpose, and I do have this, and I clearly have not like hit a dent in this blush. So I definitely am going to use this blush even more, and that is still going to be in my wish list, but I'm not going to buy for this month for sure. Next thing was the ABH foundation, the Impeccable foundation. Now I still feel that that foundation is going to be amazing on my skin. But truth be told, I have so many foundations in my drawer which I absolutely love and adore, and I am not using it. Of course, because I have so many, I always stick to like a few foundations, and the other things go to waste. And I want to use up my foundation that are there in the drawer. So for now, I definitely see myself buying this foundation somewhere in the future, because I feel like I love a good like medium coverage, a little bit more like a soft matte blurring foundation. But guess what? I have so many foundations that I absolutely love and adore, and I've nowhere close to like just finishing it out. So let me finish out some of the foundation, and if I really feel that I need to buy it, maybe Sephora sale. But that's still going to be in my wish list. Actually, let me tell you what is going out of my wish list. I feel like YSL blush can go out of the wish list, because I can see myself like just taking it out. Okay, because $45, I don't think it's worth. Of course, the packaging is beautiful, but I don't think that's worth $45, at least my $45. So that can go out of my wish list. I'm just gonna make a list of things that are going out, okay? And then ABH foundation is still going to remain in my wish list, because I still feel like that's gonna really be beautiful on my skin. Again, the shade range, I'm not pretty clear of it, clear of the shade that would match me. I think there's a 4 neutral peach shade, 4NP. That would be my closest bet. I was also thinking about 4N, but I know Karen Harris also used the shade 4 and it looks lovely on her, but she did mention that it's a little bit more warmer on her, and I'm definitely more neutral than Karen. So I feel like the shade is also a little tricky there, but it's gonna stay there. The next thing that is on my wish list is Bella Beauty Bar Morally Grey palette. It's a beautiful 9-pan eyeshadow palette, but I do have those shades in my collection for sure. Like it's very much giving me the vibes of the Patrick Ta Rose Dimension palette with those mauvey tones. Of course, the shimmers are going to be much more dimensional and stuff, but I feel like I can dupe out those shades from my collection, so it's still going to be on my wish list. And we'll see, maybe in February, March, maybe we might not even think about it. So we'll see how that rolls. Now the next thing is Sephora collection face palette. Now as soon as they said that Sephora is going to come out with like a baked face palette, I was like yes for it, because it's like $22 for 4 products. The price is what is swaying me in. What is pulling me out of purchasing that is basically I hardly use face palettes in my entire collection. I have like over 10 face palettes easily in my collection, and I go back to either my Hourglass face palettes, or I go to that Simply Posh Cosmetics Cozy Cabin face palette. That's like the most used face palettes in my collection. And I also use the Ofra face palette. Those are the only 3 that I really go to. And if I have to say, and the Natasha Denona one, okay. So I do have these face palettes, but I have a lot more in my collection, which I easily tend to forget because I want to use my individual things. I generally take my face palettes only like if I'm in a rush, I don't want to pick out the individual things, or if I'm traveling and I just want to take one thing with me, that's when I take that out. Or if I'm like going to office, I don't want to think anything, just grab one thing and I can do my makeup, that's when I do it. But I don't think I need a face palette, and especially I feel like if the price is swaying me in, I should not buy the palette. If the shades in that palette is unique to my collection, then I can definitely think about it. But I don't think that medium to tan face palette, that range of the face palette is giving me any unique tones to my collection. So I'm going to skip that. So that is going to go out. The next thing that is on my list is Patrick Ta blush duos. Now, I already have like 2 of the Patrick Ta blushes. So I have these 2. I have Do We Know Her and Not Too Much. And I was eyeing the shade She Goes to the Gym. So this is the shade Not Too Much, which seems very, very close to She's Seductive. But She's Seductive is more beige, I think, and this is more pink leaning. Again, this is a little light on me for sure. And Do We Know Her is basically like an orangey version. And I really like this shade. I feel like out of the shades that he came out with, She's Seductive and She Goes to the Gym is the one that's calling out to me. And moreover, She Goes to the Gym is the one that's calling out to me. That's mainly because it's a cool tone mauve blush. And if you know me, you know how much I adore a cool tone mauve shade on me, and I have at least 20 blushes that is of that shade. So I am definitely going to skip out and save my $38 on that. So I am going to skip out on it, and I'm pretty sure, yes, the formula is going to be amazing, but guess what? I do have that formula and I have tested it out. I don't need to spend another like $40 on it. The next thing that I actually purchased was from Adept Cosmetics. Now, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, the Adept Minka Remastered palette. I already did like a dupe video, according to me, what like felt like very close to it. But this is the color story that I absolutely love to wear on like a daily basis, or even like on a special occasion, because I love my mauve tones, brown tones, purpley tones on me. So I seriously felt like that is a product that I would get a lot of use in my collection. So I definitely gave it in and I got it. Now when it will come in my collection, I'll definitely do a video on it so that you can see like the comparison to the shades that I already duped out and see how close I am. Yeah, but that is definitely coming into my collection. I couldn't resist. Okay, the next thing is the Merit blush in the shade Bespoke. Now this, especially this shade, came out in the holiday trio set, and obviously I did not want to buy the trio set just because it's 3 blushes, and out of which only this Bespoke shade was calling out to me. And again, this is like a rosy mauve shade. You can see clearly a pattern going on. But recently I did see Jen Phillips do a video on those blushes, like Merit blushes, and she duped it out with a Moira blush. And guess what? I do have that Moira blush with me, and this was in the shade Love Core. And if this is what Bespoke looks like, I do not need a separate blush with the same shade on it. Again, I love this kind of shade, and I feel like this is going to be very similar to that Patrick Ta She's Seductive shade also. Again, you can see a pattern. I clearly love these kind of shades, but do I need over and over like the same shade that's going to look on my skin? No, absolutely not. So that is definitely going out of my list because I do have a dupe version of it. Okay, the next thing, it's still going to remain in my wish list, and this is the MAC nude lipsticks. Now, when MAC was coming out with nude lipstick line, it perked my ears so bad. I love a good nudie lipstick, and it's giving us brown lipsticks, and I love a good brown lipstick. Okay, I really do. And especially the shade Hodgepodge, I feel like that is haunting me. I feel like I'm gonna wear it a lot. From my collection. Again, I have like a whole holder of lipsticks that I often wear. I've not owned a MAC lipstick for a long time, and I feel like if I can like get a 20% off coupon or something, I still feel like I can see myself grabbing it. The other shade that was intriguing me was the shade called Yash, and Yash. It's a long story. It's actually Yash. But that is also another shade that is actually calling out to me. But it's again a very beigey kind of shade. I feel like which I would wear it with like a deeper brown lip liner, and you can see it right now also. I generally do wear a deeper brown lip liner with those kind of shades. So those are the 2 shades that are actually calling out to me, but I feel like Hodgepodge is going to be a little bit more unique in my collection. I'm pretty sure I could find and dupe the shade Yash in my collection. So it's still going to be in my wish list. I still can think about it in my dreams and see if it is still haunting me or not. The next thing that is on my wish list is the Natasha Denona blush duos. Now I've already like spoke myself like out of it because I feel like it's more like a blush and a highlighter together, more like in a jelly consistency. And I personally, I do not like so much of like a glowy product on my skin. I try to keep it matte, as you can see, and target my highlighter only on the high points of the cheek. So I feel like that is not going to be a product for me, but just because it was like hyped up and the packaging was looking so amazing, I put it in my wish list, but I definitely can skip on that. The next thing that was on my wish list was the Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation. Now, what does that even mean? Either it's a Lumi foundation or it's a matte foundation. How can it be a luminous matte foundation? I have no idea. But I've seen several reviews on like several influencers video, and I have seen like that foundation wearing very well, but it comes out to be more of like a lumiere finish towards the end of the day. Again, I love a good matte foundation, and I think the initial thing that went into that, why I put this in the wish list, was basically because you know how much I love my Maybelline skin tint. I have repurchased that over and over again, and I feel like that performs so well. And then I was like questioning myself, if one foundation from Maybelline works so perfectly on you, why do you need to experiment on a different Lumi matte foundation? So I am going to skip out on that because I've seen several videos where it initially wears really well, but towards the end of the day, the oils start peeking through, and I am more of a combination skin tone, and I do not like an oily T-zone. So I am going to avoid that and stick to my Maybelline skin tint. Next thing that is there is the Terra Moon's Winter of Saturn collection. Now these are a bunch of single shadows. The shades were amazing, especially when I saw like Cine reviews on Instagram. She swatched those shades, I was drooling. Like, that is like a beautiful cool tone icy color story, but I hardly wear single eyeshadows. I'm trying to make a conscious effort on wearing my single shadows. I have like a whole box of single eyeshadows kept right in front of me, but still I hardly wear it, especially before going to office. I feel like that's my best way to utilize those. Just put some bronzer or like matte eyeshadows on the crease and then pick one single shadow and then put it on the crease. That would be my favorite thing to do, but I'm still not utilizing it. So I don't see myself buying several single shadows and making, like, if you put like 6 single shadows in your cart, it's easily gonna be around $100. And when I'm not using it, it totally feels like a waste of money. So I'm gonna skip out of it. This is going to be amazing. I really think that this is going to be an amazing collection for them. I love my Terra shadow. Like, I feel like they are the top of the top, creme of the creme quality that I have in my collection. I've absolutely loved each and every single shadows from Terra, but it is so sparkly, so dimensional, so shifty. In my daily life, I am not wearing that to office. So out of like the whole year, how many times am I wearing that, like those shifty, so impactful shadows? I can count it on my fingers. So for that reason, I'm gonna skip out of it. The next and the last thing that is on my wish list is the Dieverune Cosmetics Smitten Kitten palette. This looks so beautiful. Again, Cine reviews, I blame it on Cine. I feel like she captures the shadows in such a beautiful way that it looks so drool worthy. I absolutely love the shimmers that were selected there, but I also feel like the purple column calling out to me. You know, I love a good dusty mauvey purpley shade. Like, I have that over and over and over in my collection. The other side of the palette is more like pinky, reddy kind of tones, which I do not wear. So I feel like it's around, I would say, I think the palette is around like $59, $60, that kind of a price range. And if I'm not wearing half of the palette, I don't think it's worth investing in that palette at all for me. Even though I'm so sure that that palette is going to perform so well, the shimmers are going to be outstanding. I really know that. But I feel like if I don't wear those shades, I can easily skip on it. So that is also going to be going out of my wish list. So those were the things that are there in my wish list for January. And out of the 12 things, I've purchased 1. 2 are going ABH foundation, Bella Beauty Bar Morally Grey, as well as MAC nude lipsticks. These are the 3 things that are still staying on my wish list, and rest everything has been out of my wish list, which I feel is a plus in my opinion. Not saying that the 3 things that are there in the wish list I'm gonna buy it immediately. I'm definitely gonna wait on it and see if I need to add that to my February wish list or not, or if it doesn't even make it to the February wish list. So I will see you guys with the same video, same series in February, so stay tuned. But that's all for today. If you did like my video, you know what to do. Do let me know in the comment section below, do you like this kind of a version of like will I buy it series, where I'm only talking about the things that are actually exciting me. But that's all for today. If you did like my video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.